Hi, what's up, everybody? My name is Nick, and I'm here in beautiful South Florida. As you can see, nothing but trees around me, just kind of walking down my street. And today, I just want to talk about why you should go ahead and get you a Tesla if you're going to do Uber and why it's beneficial. So, let me just let you know a little bit about myself. Hold on one second. So, in my case, I've been doing Uber for the last 3 years. I started during the pandemic, and it was pretty tough. um, to say that it was a viable opportunity at that time is kind of weird. It was kind of hard, but looking back, the one thing that I love so much about Uber was the flexibility that you can kind of choose when you want to work, how you want to work, and what vehicle you want to use to do your work. So if you watch YouTube, you watch other people, then you know a lot of people drive different vehicles. Some people drive Priuses, some type of people drive big vehicles like SUVs. Some people drive all types of stuff. And in my case, I started out with just a regular old Honda Accord. I wanted something mid-size, but I didn't want something small, if that makes sense. So that's what I had at the time. And I used to make it happen. And what you learn really quickly when you start off with, you know, when you start off is that you're gonna start off with Uber X. Now, I'm not gonna be one of those people that are gonna badmouth Uber X because it's where I got my start. Uber X was beautiful in the sense that I was able to just go out there and work, and I made the money that I needed to make, and it was consistent for the most part. But the problem with Uber X and what you learn is that a lot of people that really go for Uber X don't necessarily care about you or your car. They don't care about you in terms of your time. So if depending on the area that you go to, people will make you wait. People will send you to the wrong location and then call you and tell you, hey, you're at the wrong location, and then get mad at you like they didn't put the address in. Hey, you're at the wrong location. What are you doing? And it's like, yeah, I went to the location that you put into the app. But hey, you get a lot of problems as you start to progress and as you start to get a little bit more consistent. You get a lot of problems when you're doing Uber X. Again, I'm not saying one size fits all. In my experience, I had a lot of problems. You have to be very picky and choosy. You just get a lot of people that don't value you, don't value your vehicle, don't value your time. All they care about is just going where they need to go, and they want you to do it super fast. They want you to basically be their chauffeur, get out and open the door. They just have unrealistic expectations a lot of times because other drivers have done it for them. And yeah, so they've become, a lot of people have become accustomed to getting top tier service or going for people to go above and beyond and extra mile, and they don't necessarily have to pay for it. Now, am I telling you that you shouldn't be a great driver? Am I telling you that, extra mile service is bad? I'm just telling you what I know, but what I am telling you is that you have to know your worth. There's a movement going on, more so on the food delivery side, where no tip, no trip. And there's a couple other YouTube channels that talk about just knowing your worth in terms of picking and choosing what rides you take, and this all kind of follows the same vein. With Uber X, I would recommend that you be really, wow, I can't speak. You be really selective. Just because you want to make sure that you're not going to get somebody that's going to get in your car and damage it. I don't know if you've ever been in that situation. Maybe a lot of people have. Go ahead and write in the comments, but I'm just going to tell you, Uber doesn't care about your vehicle either. So a passenger can get in your car, damage it, and then you got to fight tooth and nail to hopefully get Uber to try to do something about it and kind of sort of reimburse you. But just understand, we sign up for this gig life, we sign up for this platform, so you have to understand. So what I'm trying to tell you is that because you signed up for this platform, you have to take the good with the bad. And when you take Uber X, a lot of Uber X, yeah, you're going to get the good and you're definitely going to get a lot of the bad, okay? Now, again, like I said, I'm not telling you Uber X is the devil or anything like that. I'm just telling you, you'll start to be aware of it, okay? And this is something that I didn't know before, because all I had was Uber X. I didn't have access to any of the other platforms and any of the other options. So I just made do with what I had. So the reason why I do my ride share in a Tesla is because legitimately I have access to all of the tiers. So I can do comfort, I can do comfort electric, I can do Premier, I can do so many, I have access to so many other tiers than I used to, okay? Now, you may be saying, what does that matter? Yeah, whatever. Now, hands down, Uber X is the busiest platform on Uber. It's how they make their money. It's how a lot of people, when they turn on the app, they're going for the cheapest option. That's Uber X, okay? So if you're just starting out, that's most likely what you're going to get paid the most from, just because it's the most available, and you really don't have to wait a lot of times depending on what city and what market. You can generally get you can generally get rides and stay busy on Uber X. But it's the other platforms that if you have those rides, if you have access to those rides, those are a little bit higher paying. So if they're higher paying, then it generally means that somebody is willing to pay more for service, okay? So again, one size doesn't fit all. You will always, regardless of what tier you go to, what type of ride it is, you're always going to have somebody that just doesn't care about you, that just trashes everything. But look at it like this: the more somebody is willing to pay for a ride, the more value they find in the ride. It's just what I've come to learn. So if they find value in the ride and they're willing to pay for that service, they're most likely not going to be a person that's going to try to damage your vehicle. They're most likely not going to be a person that's trying to just cause havoc during the trip. When you become an Uber driver, when you sign on to the platform, our main job, yes, there's a customer service aspect and all of that. Our main job is to take people from point A to point B. That's the biggest, that's our main job. Absolutely. We have ancillary, types of side parts of the job, customer service. Hopefully you're not a crazy driver. There's other stuff involved, but the main objective is that person requested a ride from wherever they're at to go to wherever they need to go. And you accepted the ride, or you accepted the request, and so it's your job to pick that person up in a timely fashion and take them to their location safely. That's the bulk of our job, So if you're, the other stuff is where having access to other tiers plays a part. because you don't, let's be honest, you're picking up strangers. Strangers are getting in and out of your car. You don't know them from a can of paint. You most likely won't see them ever again. Again, depending on your market. There's a lot of, I can tell you now, I'm in the South Florida market. So in my case, I probably have rematched with people, re-gotten a person that I picked up out of the last 2 years, maybe 5 or 10 times. Again, I'm not saying that I can't say that I'm I can't say that I'm the rule. I can just say that in my experience, I generally don't rematch with people that I've picked up. Or if I do, they don't remember me. So, or I don't remember them. So our job. So what all I'm trying to say is that when you're picking up strangers, when you're picking up people from places that you may not know, that you don't necessarily go to, you have a lot of variables that you can't control. So what you want to do is start trying to control some of those variables. Again, it's the Uber platform. It's not our platform. We can't set the prices. You generally, there's certain restrictions and certain things that you got to be aware of. But ultimately, what you can control is who you can start to try to control who you select, where you're going. Now that we have upfront pricing, you can kind of sort of select what type of person you're going to get. Again, it's not one size fits all, but it is fair, in my experience, it is fairly true that the more somebody is willing to pay for a ride, the more somebody is willing to pay for extra service, the better that person is as a client, the better that person is in terms of as a rider. And just in just the general sense, they are most likely not gonna damage your car. Now, so having a Tesla gives me access to every tier that's available on the Uber platform. And ultimately you want to try them out for yourself. In some markets, Comfort works really well. In other markets, it's Premier or Uber Black. In other markets, it's just kind of different. So you want to kind of try out those tiers, but you'll know when you get those ride requests because it's going to pay more. The other reason why I do it in a Tesla is because, like I said, our biggest job is to drive. And if you've never driven for 8, 10, 12 hours, it's taxing. It's not the easiest thing. Let's just be honest, okay? It's something that you have to get used to. It's something that you have to adjust yourself to. And so driving is our biggest responsibility. Again, we set our own hours. So maybe you don't work for 8 hours, 10 hours, 15 hours, whatever. But if you do, and if you ever decide to, you want to be as comfortable as possible. Okay. Now, I'm not going to really dig into like the luxury debate or anything like that. But you want to drive in a car that feels comfortable to you. Okay. So now the Tesla has a bunch of features. If you know anything about Teslas, it's electric. It has like a ton of different features. The biggest feature that I personally like is probably what you're thinking about when you hear a Tesla. It's the fact that it can drive itself. Now, I don't let it drive. I generally don't. I generally ask my passengers, how they feel about it, try to get that conversation started. But if I can let the car drive, hands down, I'm going to let the car drive. Why? Because it lets me reset. It lets me kind of relax. It keeps me fresh for the next passenger. But it's also, it's a moment that I can double check the route. It's a moment that I can kind of make sure and adjust certain things in a car. It's a moment that I can kind of sort of take my eyes off the road. Again, even though you have access to it, you don't want to abuse it. Even though you're using it, you still want to pay attention to the road. But I'm just, I'm just going to kill the elephant in the room. The biggest reason why I do Uber in a Tesla is because it helps me perform my biggest job. And that's of course, driving. So it gives me the comfort of knowing, okay, I'm getting a little bit tired. Again, not saying you should be driving when you're tired, or let's say it's at the end of the shift, the end of the time that I really want to drive. I can kind of gear myself up, relax a little bit, turn on driving, let it drive for itself, drink some coffee, do what I need to do, kind of, all while the passenger is back there, or just driving to the passenger. Most of the time, I'll be honest, a large portion of the time I use it when I'm driving to a passenger, just because here in South Florida we get some crazy pickup times. So some crazy pickup distances. So like, oh yeah, it may be 2 or 3 miles, but because of the traffic, it's 10-15 minutes. Again, you should be selective, but yeah, I get that quite often, because for me personally, I like longer trips because I like to make my money. I like to make $20-30 at one time. So for me, I generally use it when I'm going to people. Okay, so I hope I kind of explained to you why you should do Uber and a Tesla. And the last thing is, you still have a wow factor for this car. As crazy as it sounds, if you're a tech person, this may sound crazy, but Tesla has been around for a long time. Let's just, but in the last couple years, it started to get really popular. Okay. Now, you may be a person that you don't like explaining things. You just kind of want to shut up and drive, or, you just kind of want to be to yourself. And I understand that. But, the other aspect, yes, our biggest job is to drive people from point A to point B. But the other aspect of that is that we get the chance to kind of explain the Tesla, the car, to other people. And a good majority of those people actually tip you. So, just in terms of the tips and tricks that you use, you can add this to your repertoire. So, there is a definite wow factor. Most people haven't gotten into a Tesla. Most people don't even know about a Tesla. Most people don't know where they can buy a Tesla from. So, you do get a chance to kind of shock and wow people in ways that you wouldn't. And, it's a cool car. So, hey, so this was the video today. I just wanted to get on here and just kind of talk about why I personally try to drive in a Tesla. If you like the video, go ahead and hit a like. It definitely helps. I'm a small channel. I'm just getting started. So all likes, all comments do help. But if you feel differently, if you feel like I said something or something that resonated with you, go ahead and leave a comment. Let's talk about it in the comments below. Other than that, go ahead and subscribe. I'm going to be making a bunch of videos here. I'm a new YouTuber, and yeah, so if you want to see more content like this, just go ahead and subscribe. Other than that, guys, have a beautiful day. All right.